Ladies and gentlemen, as you can probably guess by the name of the video that I've put up here, do you speak Japanese? That is the mission we're looking at today. We are looking at the Bougainville campaign with Wade and his rear gunner dealing with the 93rd Infantry Division on Bougainville during the Bougainville campaign. So, this has been like a pretty requested reaction video. I guess it might be because I'm an anime channel as well, so they're like, oh yes, like, what's your opinion on this one? We'll say I also do a lot of Pacific War history on the aircraft carrier Akagi and the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise. Please do check those out. But anyway, I know about this mission. Again, I haven't played the game because I refuse to give them money for this piece of... I think I'm still within the early stage, so piece of doo-doo. So, without further ado, guys and girls, welcome to the show. Let us begin. Alright, now, prerequisite, before I go any further, this mission features the 93rd Infantry Division. They deployed to Bougainville in 1944, so this is already wrong. Oh, and another clarification here, should say this before we go any further, I'm not going to do the part where he sneaks through the jungle. I can't be asked. I do not care. It is a boring-ass, generic stealth mission, and nothing interesting happens in it. So I'm going to be skipping straight to meeting up with the 93rd and their adventures. Alright, let's go. Alright, so first things first. The SBD shooting down a zero. Hollywood, yeah, for sure. Definitely, especially how quickly both aircraft are maneuvering. But I will say that the SBD, when it doesn't have a bomb load on board, is quite maneuverable. And as a result, it can maneuver with a zero. It can't usually win, but it can maneuver with them. It can hold its own. And in fact, there is an episode of Dogfights about an SBD pilot, Swede Vegesta or Swede Vedesa, who did successfully fight off several zeros, shooting several of them down in an SBD Dauntless. So that is something that can happen. I'll try and actually put a clip of that in here. See if I can find the episode of Dogfights. Hopefully I don't get copyright struck for it. I'll put it through here.
And I felt I got a pretty good burst on it. I see at this time he's smoking, so I figured it must have hit him.
Okay, now that is complete trash. Look at this. Chuck, 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 chuck. No. No. Aerial mounted machine guns fire a lot faster for very good reason. They have to. Their targets are only going to be on screen, on screen. Fucking playing video games. No. The targets are only going to be visible and within effective range for a few seconds. 50 cals and 30 cals, both of them usually had an elevated rate of fire in their aircraft mounted variants. Again, I will direct you to some footage of a airborne mounted 50 cal on a UH-1Y Venom that's currently right now. As you can see, the fire rate of an aerial-mounted machine gun is generally a lot higher, at least in modern aircraft. On World War I aircraft, they literally just bolted the machine gun on. But this fire rate is flat-out ridiculous. And this is even dumber. That is a waste. That is a complete fucking waste of your time. Now, again, There is a confirmed report. I do believe there is a confirmed report of someone shooting down a Zero with a Colt 45. I don't know if it's true. I'll have to look it up. I do hear rumors of it on occasion, but there is a confirmed Colt 45 kill that I do know, which was Army Lieutenant, I think his name was Merritt Dwayne, I'm pretty sure. He was like a scout pilot flying a LH-4 Grasshopper, like the recon aircraft that for artillery and tank divisions, they used to have like their own little recon aircraft that came along with them. He found a German recon aircraft doing the same thing, a Fiesler Storch, and he and his observer flew alongside it and told him to surrender. And of course, the moment the Storch saw them, it tried to get away. And so they opened the side door of their Grasshopper, which basically looks like a Piper Cub or a Cessna 172. You know, I'll put a picture of it on screen here. They opened the side door of their Grasshopper with their Colt 45s and just started gatting him. They flew like literally right up next to him and drove by this Storch, just gatting him with their 45s. And they shot it down, and I'll put up a picture of that crashed Storch there. So, confirmed kill with a Colt 45, just not in this setting. But this is just stupid. Given that you're probably going to have to crash land in a few minutes, I'd be holding on to the ammo, personally.
Hang on back there!
Okay, deploying the butterfly flaps to arrest the dive speed. Yeah. No, that's bullshit. That's completely ridiculous. It's Hollywood nonsense, but you probably guessed that already. One thing I will give them credit for here is the paint schemes of the aircraft are correct, and the model of Zero they're using is correct. As you saw in the Midway mission, they were A6M2s, which had basically their 20mm cannons were inboard in the aircraft. They were completely inside the wing or the airfoil of the aircraft. Now their 20mm cannons are extending out from the aircraft, which is a later model of cannon, which was put on the A6M5. So, or the A6M3. I think the A6M3 as well had them. As well. Can't English. English is hard, guys. But I'm pretty sure the A6M5 was the one that had those exterior. There's also a ton of other models with quad cannons and so forth, but props to them. The Zeros look correct with their paint scheme, so I'll give them that. Why they don't have traces coming from their twin nose guns as well, I don't know. Again, this is completely ridiculous Hollywood nonsense. They wouldn't do this crap. The Zeros would break off, because they're faster than the SBD. The Zeros would break off and climb above the valley and just wait for him to come out the other side. That being said, I do know that maneuver kills were quite common in the Pacific Theater, at least over New Guinea, because of the high mountain ranges like you see here. Saburo Sakai reports a maneuver kill he scored on a P-39, where he did something very similar. They were hedge hopping over the treetops, and he forced him into a position where he would get a gun solution unless he made a drastic turn. And when he did that drastic turn, that turn was into a cliff face. And so Saburo got a... Basically, Saburo put him in a position where his choices were crash into a mountain or pull up in front of my guns and get shot. So, maneuver kills in Papua New Guinea and around this area, yes. But in this method, no. Funnily enough, this is actually the correct decision, even though it ends up getting him shot down. He can't disengage or run from the Zero. So, if he turns around and goes defensive, the Zero can just turn around and chase him down. So, it is kind of the right decision, but unfortunately, the Zero is being what we would call in Aces High a massively multiplayer combat flight sim game. He's running to AK. He's running to AK. He's being a pussy. He's hiding in his act like a pansy. And so, Wade's about to eat shit. And this is a myth because Japanese AA actually hits something. If I suggest watching Drakinifil's video, I'll put a screenshot of the video. I'd suggest watching that video to find out just how much of a heap of shit those Japanese AA guns were. I can't remember the type designation off the top of my head, like type 95, I think, or 97, I think. I'm not sure. It's off the top of my head. I couldn't be sure, but all I know is they're terrible, and just flat out useless. Their ballistics are bad. Their rate of fire is terrible, and they have to be hand-loaded by magazine. So, I mean, yeah, they did score kills, but with such a short exposure on target, nah.
Shit! We're hit!
When Wade was there.
But, cool little detail for those of us who notice. As this has gone on, he had the old model of the SBD, the previous model, which had the dive sight, which had the diving sight. Now, because it's late war, and you can see that the dive bombing sight is integrated into the gun sight for his 30 cals on the front. So this is a later model SBD with the reflector sight. So the reflector sight and the reticle is accurate, which is good. Why can't you put this effort into the rest of your game? I don't understand.
He was the most dangerous thing in the skies. But if you fly too close to the sun, eventually your wings will get burned.
I need to do like a cinema scenes, like, you know, they survived this. Haha.
Do you speak Japanese?
すごいな。英語上手。英語上手。はいはいはい。日本語大丈夫。私はクソくらいと死ね。Eat shit and die. Real talk though. For someone who's obviously English is a second language, that is... For a Japanese foot soldier, that English is pretty fucking impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Coming in like the real G's. We're cooking. Now, in case anyone gets butthurt in the comments, I'm going to make this very, very clear. I don't want to see any sympathy for them on this channel. They killed 2 million people with biological and chemical weapons in China. Experimented on prisoners while they were still alive. And also civilians. Like, they vivisected pregnant women to check how the fetus developed at different stages. Without anesthesia. Like, vivisection means dissect them alive. So, I don't really care. And that's not even getting into the abduction of close to 800,000 women of all races, religions, backgrounds across all of Southeast Asia for use as what are essentially sex slaves. So, burn him again, Chief. Do it one more. One more for luck. Come on. Nah, oh well.
Woke up. They're still alive.
Yeah, no shit.
Cut them free. I'm aviation machinist mate, 3rd class Hernandez. The ungrateful one is Lieutenant Jackson. We got shot down. That's why we're here.
Thanks.
Sergeant James Washington, Army, 93rd Infantry Division.
As mentioned before, it is historically accurate that the 93rd Infantry Division were deployed to Bougainville in 1944. So they're a year early. But like I was saying before with the Australians, even though the historical context is wrong, I gotta give them props. I know some people were whinging about it being too woke, but I gotta give them props. The African American divisions of World War II do not get enough credit. They really don't. One of the craziest Medal of Honors. I can't remember the exact story off the top of my head, but I'll post a link to it. I'll probably put a thing up on here in post. But one of the craziest Medal of Honors won in World War II, I think it was in Italy, was from an African American division. So, absolutely.
Lenny, patch this man up.
You got any planes? We need to get back up there.
Planes? We lucky they gave us ammo. That one's dead weight.
Just gonna slow us down. I'm right here.
You know how to use a gun?
Went through basic just like you.
Sarge, we got company! I got control of the stick now, Lieutenant. You're just along for the ride.
Oh yeah.
All right, men, this ain't just a boy.
All right, Type 100 SMG. I'm not going to elaborate on it much. It looks just about right. The only thing I would say is go watch Jonathan Ferguson's video on it. But there were only like 8,000 of these things made total. And I think there was only like 2,000 made of this model. And during the jungle escape mission, we already saw like 30 of the damn things. So, I mean, it's possible it would be here, but like they are not anywhere near as common as they are in this game at all.
Let's get moving. Kibble, Hernandez, who are
Oh, at least Wade's 1911 still has ammo. I think Hernandez's does. Tanks grenade, like it's cool.
All right, on me.
You thought I didn't mention it before because I was too busy flexing my first grade weeb level Japanese. But I've mentioned it so many times before, I'll say it again. Why the Japanese have this magical shotgun that there was only like 800 made ever. And some random Japanese dude has a custom engraved German-made shotgun. Made for aristocrats like Vons and Grafs. Some Japanese dude in the middle of the Pacific has one. Like, I'm not even mad about anymore about the fact that he's got the gun. I want to know where he's getting the fucking ammo.
What's up, people? Long way to go.
Better than loading trucks, that's for damn sure. Hey, you guys said you were 93rd. Never heard of it. Bet you ain't never met a Negro before, neither. We ain't exactly in the credit-getting business. Oh, colored regiment. Yep. You see any snakes or centipedes? Let me know. We'll get the cookout ready.
Hold up.
See something?
No. But when that sniper got Thompson, he was on a bridge just like this.
So how do we cross?
We draw the snipers out.
Pilfrey,
Your name's up.
hope there's grits in heaven.
I mentioned it, and I'm going to mention it again here, as you probably, if you saw it in my Midway video, I'm going to say it again here. I understand they're trying to be woke of duty. They're trying to be cool. And as you can probably tell, as I keep mentioning in my videos, for those of you who are new, I've got a fucking furry hat and a communist flag as my background. So I'm obviously a big guy for equality and for progressivism. But there is a line between progressive representation, which if they just had the 93rd Division here, I would be like, absolutely. There's a big line between representation and tokenism. And like, oh, we'll get the cookout ready. Oh, I hope there's grits in heaven. Like, is it enough for them just to be normal African-American guys just out there doing their thing? Like, it's the same thing with Hernandez, how he's like putting Spanish in every third word. Like, ditch the stereotype. These guys are, like, you look at their combat record, it's not as storied as some of the other regiments out there, given they got put in a backwater, but I'll get into that later. But, like, the African-American regiments of World War II, especially the famous Tuskegee Airmen, who had one of the most ridiculous ratios of success of any fighter group, like, there is so much positive, non-stereotypical, non-woke, historically accurate representations of African Americans in World War II that you could do It's not the fact that I don't like them getting their representation like some of the white supremacist assholes you see out there. It's not like, oh my god, there's black people and women in my game. No, I'm not talking about that. What's making me angry is the fact that there are actual historically accurate examples of women, people of color. You know, hell, in the intelligence circles, there's even trans and LGBTQ representation there. Okay? Like, there is a ton of progressive stuff. There are tons of people of all backgrounds who did incredible things during the Second World War, and you reduce it to this tokenistic bullshit. It's the same as Battlefield 5 with their frickin' Norway mission, with their Heroes of Telemark interpretation. Like, there are actual progressive icons that you could use. Lydia Litvak, the first female fighter ace in human history. The guys I was mentioning before, the Japanese Americans who fought in Europe, who were the most decorated regiment in US military history, but they're not in this game. There's some weak-ass interpretation of an honorable, brave African-American unit in the wrong year doing this tokenistic crap. Like, the men of the 93rd and most of, if not all, the African-American regiments were pretty fucking badass. Like, they were awesome. There's a great photo of an African-American soldier next to an artillery piece with, you know, Happy Birthday Adolf written on it during the Battle of the Bulge. These guys were hard motherfuckers. And you're doing them like this. Like, no. I'm sorry, Call of Duty. Like, this is a rant. I'm sorry. Like, if you're gonna do LGBTQ and people of color representation, do it historically accurate and do it right. Not some of this vaudeville shit you're putting up here.
When I give the word, I want to see your best, Jesse Owens. Who?
Fucking hell.
Oh, means run fucking.
What do you mean, who? I don't care how stereotypical. Like, okay, now this is the other thing. This is going in the other direction. Jesse Owens was a fucking national hero. Every American would know who Jesse Owens is. He won multiple medals at the Olympics and made world headlines for being snubbed by Adolf Hitler. Like, are you serious, Call of Duty? Are you actually fucking with me? It goes both ways. This is virtue signaling tokenist crap. God fucking damn it. These men deserve better. All of these men. Hernandez, Wade Jackson, and the 93rd Infantry Division, the real veterans that they're representing, deserve fucking better. They deserve better than this. They deserve the recognition and the immortalization of a historically accurate game. You know what? I'm going to do some research on decorations and shit and citations for the 93rd Infantry Division. I'll put them up here. Because this is an... I'm fucking...
Fast. Now!
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this. But apart from the revolt, like... Maybe it's because they ran out of ideas or something, but... Yeah, we've got incongruous guns, and I can't wait to see what shit they find further on down this mission, but... At least from the Type 100, though it looks a bit too high quality. And now this Type 11 machine gun. Like, it's got the really cool, like, hopper feed system on the left-hand side where you can load the stripper clips sequentially. So you can just keep feeding rounds into it. I actually really like that, because what it is you can see the hopper on the left-hand side. It's actually a bunch of standard Arisaka rifle clips together that have been fed into the hopper, and then the machine gun fires them, and then once the ammo is out of that particular clip, the clip doesn't have isn't able to push the spring keeping it in, and so the clip falls out, right? And then the next one drops into place and keeps cycling. And so you can keep topping this machine gun up as you go instead of having to change the magazine. And it also means, because it's using the standard stripper clips for the Arisaka rifles, you just ship huge truckloads of pre-packed Arisaka clips, and then you just hand a bag of them to the machine gunner. And of course, also, the rifleman, if shit really hits the fan, the rifleman can give their extra ammo to the machine gunner. And they've modeled that in here. At least, I haven't seen him reload it yet. I'm going to see if they model it properly, but at least they have it. You fucking... I go through that whole thing explaining how that works and why, and you go and do that, you fucking useless piece of shit game! At least they got the Arisaka right. I mean, it's hard to fuck up, but you've done enough fucking up things today already, CoD Vanguard. So, I mean, go for the trifecta, I guess. But at least I got this right. You see, there's the stripper clip, and you see how the stripper clip operates. It operates like any other stripper clip, but look at this. Loads it in. Oh my god! It was partially loaded, and he kept rounds. Good job, Vanguard! Good job! It's a shame you couldn't do that with, oh, I don't know, the Lee Enfield, which had a 10-round fuck! And look at that. There it is. There it is. I was waiting for it to show up. Where are we? Give it a second. Give it a second. Wait for it. Click on the trigger. Not only is an STG-44 in fucking the Pacific Theater, it is the Light War fully decked out select fire STG-44 with a fucking Zeiss optic. Oh my, you know what? Put the drum mag on as well. Why not? You fucking cretins. And this player doesn't even pick it up too. Like, I don't know, is he committing to the bit? Because mad respect for committing to the roleplay, but like, ditch the Arisaka and grab the STG. You might as well. This game has abandoned all pretense of legitimacy, so you might as well just fucking pick up the STG and have done with it.
Man, fuck this place.
I'm with you, bro. Fuck this place.
Never cease but with our lives.
That doesn't sound like Lenny.
John Adams.
Yes, it is. John Adams.
Someone give Lenny's gun to John Adams. We could use the help.
Low and quiet, boys.
Okay.
To the left. The rest of you on me.
So let's stop here for a second. Now, the 93rd were doing mop-up positions and, like, mopping up remaining positions. So it is kind of feasible that they would assault a heavily dug-in Japanese force on a mountain. And the way they've got it set up, the Japanese were known for putting their artillery pieces inside elaborate cave systems, as we saw during the Battle of Iwo Jima and the Battle of Mount Suribachi on Iwo Jima specifically. They're also very good at building bunkers and setting ambushes and traps inside tunnel systems, which you can see a bit poorly given the res, but as you can see the bunkers and shit here, yeah, that's all relatively believable, along with the communications tower to keep comms for the bunker system inside. So I don't have much of a problem with this. Again, it's a bit unlikely that the 93rd would be assaulting a massive fortress and then going on an assault on an airfield. But, you know, it's not outside the realms of possibility. So I'll give them a pass on that. Besides, it's Call of Duty. They need to have a cool mission, right? What does weird me out is these. Dragon's Teeth tank traps. Now, the reason that that's weird is Dragon's Teeth were only used by one country during World War II, at least to any significant degree. And that, of course, was Nazi Germany. And moreover, they have integrally attached the barbed wire prongs, the barbed wire sticks, and the anti-infantry prongs here into the Dragon's Teeth. I don't think I've seen any like that. For one thing, it's just a pain in the dick to do. You have to set the concrete in a mold, and then you have to put the stick in the mold. Otherwise, you're going to have to drill a hole in the concrete and put the... And that's just going to take way too much time. What you'd do is you'd put a shit ton of tank traps there, and then you'd put barbed wire in between the lines of tank traps. That's what you do. A small little nitpick thing, but it's just... looks out of place for the Pacific. I'll say that.
Not bad. Fly, boy.
Okay, continuity error. I mean, yeah, sure, but where the round went through his shoulder, I think the tank was in the way of that. That's one hell of an angle. What would be more realistic is if they went for the headshot, because the Type 11 machine gun and the Type 92 machine gun are really accurate from a standing position. So, what would have made more sense is a headshot, but I guess they have to go for the PG rating.
I can take that for you. I'm a fast learner. It's a lot heavier than this. And a hell of a lot harder. Perfect. Where's the payback? All right, then. Let's hit that pillbox. Pillbox. Jackson, get that pillbox. We're on cover fire. Go.
Nice to see a weapon system in CoD Vanguard being used for what it was actually used for. Yes, flamethrowers clearing bunkers. It's what they're for.
Use that torch on the box. Light him up, Jackson.
Remember, kids, war crimes are always better with friends.
Belfry, take out that gas.
Artillery piece looks relatively accurate. Can't remember the designation off the top of my head. I'm not exactly fantastic with Japanese artillery weapons, but it does look right. Very traditional construction, spoked wheels. Yeah, looks about right.
They're making a run for it.
Wow. Has bullet time and can see through fucking walls. So stupid. There you go. There you go. Finally. Look at that. Not only 2 STGs back to back. There you go. There it is. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, the STG-44 with the Zeiss scope and either fast mags or drum mags. I think that's the fast mags, but there you go. A fully modified STG. The only thing he hasn't done is cut the stock off, which you can do in multiplayer, apparently. And a perfectly good one right there. Oh, yeah. You know, I'm like getting desensitized to seeing STG-44s. You know, next game, next COD, everyone gets them. Like, one of the best comments I saw in my most recent video was the not Call of Duty, fuck Call of Duty, fuck this game. No, Company of Heroes line. It's like, we should all get Sturmgewehrs! You get a Sturmgewehr, you get a Sturmgewehr, everyone gets Sturmgewehrs!
Don't let them escape. Keep your distance.
That's one way of doing it.
Damn this bitch.
Alright, so I'll pause it here. So, the way this airfield is set up, these hangars are like way too close to the strip. Like, they are way too close to the strip. Also, that control tower, I mean, it's okay. It's not exactly where I'd put it. Also, can someone please explain to me why the radio tower for the ComSen is over there and not with the control tower, which is where I'd put it. Just makes sense. I suppose for dispersion in case of enemy attack, but again, I don't know. The Japanese tanks in the bottom right corner. They look right. Can't remember again their designation. Japanese tanks are not my strong point. Argo, I think those are. They don't look like Chihas. They look like Hargos to me. I'm probably wrong. Correct me in the comments, but they've got that weird sort of curved exterior shape. Yeah. So. Also, if mine eyes do not deceive me, does that look like an Opel Blitz truck to you? Looks like a German Opel Blitz truck to me. Again, how the Japanese have one of those, I'm not sure, but... Did Opel have a factory in Japan? I'm not sure. I don't think they did. Although, the Opel Kadett has the reliability of a Japanese car, but that was made in the 50s, so... Shout out to Top Gear and Oliver, so... You know... That was a bit of an obscure reference. Anyway, moving on. Okay. So you know I was going to bring this up. May not be an expert on Japanese tanks. But I can tell you one thing. 76mm Shermans in 1943 in the Pacific? No. Just no. I mean, I'm not the biggest armor expert. I do usually do research for my Girls and Panzer videos. I do extensive research to make sure my facts are correct. And I do know that the the M476W and other variants of the 76mm Sherman were available. They were almost definitely in testing phases in 1943 because they saw deployment in 1944. But I will also tell you that, given the experiences the Japanese have with American armor, and Call of Duty World at War got this wrong too, Japanese tanks were completely no match for the standard M4 Sherman. And as this is 1943, the Battle of Kasserine Pass and Operation Torch, like, the Germans... Like, 21st Panzer under Erwin Rommel are rolling through the desert right now. There ain't no fucking way the Yanks are sending their top-tier 76mm Sherman tanks to fight the Japanese. There is no way, there's no reason to. An M5 Stuart and a can-do attitude can defeat Japanese tanks. In fact, I'm pretty sure a dedicated Marine with a Swiss Army knife can defeat a Japanese tank. But... fucking, I guess, why not? It doesn't exist yet, it's not field deployed, and it's in the complete wrong theater. The only place I would actually consider seeing these tanks likely would be Okinawa. Would be Iwo Jima and Okinawa, and even then that's a stretch.
That's the radio tower.
Look at that! Aichi D3A Val. I don't have a good look from this distance, but it looks right. Engine looks right, at least. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is not outside the realms of possibility, but I will say that even for snipers, the Japanese weren't exactly very well known for their use of optics. So I find it highly unlikely, especially if it's just sitting there. If it was on the sniper he shot before, maybe, but just lying around, no. Hold on. Look at that. Right there. Hey, look. An MG42 without the flash hider. You know, it was mentioned in my LL main video. Look at that. The MG42s don't have the flash hider. Why? I don't understand this. Right? It goes beyond being a gun nerd, right? It goes beyond me being a nerd. I'm being a nerd right now. this whole video series is one big nerd circle jerk. Okay, we all know what's wrong with this game. It's fucking stupid. But it's this shit that really pisses me off. What's the reason for removing the flash hider? Did you just sort of forget it's there? It's not even, and it doesn't even say a short-barreled MG42 when you man it or pick it up. It's an entrenched machine gun, and the barrel seems too short, and there's no flash hider. It just... It's the most iconic machine gun of World War II, and it looks wrong. If there's one gun that you shouldn't fuck up, it's this one. Because it's been the default entrenched machine gun for every game in your franchise except World at War, and only then, because in World at War you had the actual Japanese Type 92 machine gun. World at War had some critical time period mistakes. Okay, especially in the first Russian mission in CoD World at War, there were some incredible mistakes in that mission. But it still maintained an air of historical authenticity. This is just fucking laziness.
Good to see you, boys. Make yourselves at home. Jackson, Hernandez, let's get you airborne.
Okay, this whole thing is completely ridiculous, because here they are assaulting the airfield, going straight down the runway with their tanks. That's cool. These tanks shouldn't exist yet, and they shouldn't even be here. And they've completely missed the Japanese entrenched out of cover on top of the big building. They also aren't slinging HE rounds into the tower or into this bunker here. I guess you've got to have something for the infantry to do. And so we're clearing through here. Everything's wonderful. Look at that. Also, strange point of order here, but why is there a searchlight on top of the control tower, and who's going to get up there and man it? Shouldn't it be on the balcony that old mate just there was standing on? That makes sense. And there's no platform or any safety rails for him. I guess he's just going to be a hero. Like Death Star construction. Where's the safety rail? Also got zeros, and these zeros don't have wing cannons, I don't think. No, they don't. So those are A6M2s. Again, you had the correct zero for this time period, at least for the most part. I mean, it is still feasible that the A6M2 would be in service, but why do you show the A6M5 in your cutscene and then show an A6M2 in game? I know why. It's because you've been lazy. You haven't taken 5 minutes to change the paint scheme and add 2 cylindrical objects to the 3D model. At least they got the grenade right. Come on. I shouldn't be surprised, but again, if I go forward here, look at that. We have an airborne mounted MG42. Which isn't a thing. At least not to my knowledge. Should be an MG34 and an MG18 maybe. But not an MG42. It's got a different barrel jacket to it, I suppose. Signify that it's, you know, it's also... No. No. That's not right at all, as far as I'm aware. Maybe later models had one. I don't know, but the back of the barrel is open. The canopy swings down from that. Like, there's no split there. Also, that machine gun, we've already established there's no MG42s here, but that machine gun would have been a perfect light machine gun to add because it's a really great top-fed drum mag machine gun that's supposed to be there. But we've got this piece of shit. However, the rest of the model looks good. The wings are correct. Tail plane is correct. Fixed undercarriage, yeah. Bomb? Correct as well? Yeah, okay.
We'll push you out of the hangar. Take this. Cover us while we get you in position.
Find us some runway, and we'll handle the rest.
Put your best into it. Push.
Alrighty, so he's got an anti-air sight on it. Okay. But it should be an MG34 if they're even going to do that. And it's not an MG34. It's an MG42 with a anti-air barrel and a anti-air sight. And this is the Pacific. He should have a Japanese machine gun. But of course, I mean, we're checking out at this point, guys. You can probably tell I've checked out. I'm like, fucking whatever.
With those legs. Jackson, need cover fire.
I mean, cool. I mean, that works. We're just... Also... Okay, so they are pushing it. I was just wondering. Okay. Can I just point out that the moment they see that aircraft rolling out of that hangar, every one of those zeros is going to come strafe him. Not only that, there's a whole fucking ass firefight going on. Japanese aircraft are renowned for being fragile. And yes, I know this is Call of Duty, and that SBD we saw in Midway took, like, tanked fucking 20mm shots like it was going out of style. But what? Taking off a Japanese plane during a firefight? That's not how you win a firefight. That's how you get a fireball. Is what that is.
Keep shooting, wait.
And we're missing the runway. We're off the runway now. It's cool. Okay, they finally noticed. Ha! Shot down the zero. Cool. Like one rifle shot to the fuel tank and that's it. Game over. Yes, let's not shoot the soft target that we can actually kill. Let's shoot at the Shermans instead. Why not?
Won't be needing this anymore.
Alright.
Show us what you can do, Lieutenant.
Alright. Let's see.
Okay, so... Alright, so he's got the two machine guns here, but I didn't see machine gun ports. I mean, the cockpit doesn't look too bad. I mean... Pitch indicator's correct. Is it a fuel gauge or an... What's that supposed to be? What is that? I don't know what that is supposed to be. I'm just having a look here. Have a look at this thing. I mean, looking at it, I mean... It looks... okay. It looks kind of right. Yeah. Wow. They got this cockpit right. He doesn't have his compass down here, though. Everything else looks relatively okay. Not sure what these switches are doing and the fuel cock's missing, but, you know, I mean, small things. Got the machine guns here, so that's right. There we go.
More or less. I should have known you'd say that. Here we go.
And the sight's right, too. You've got to be fucking kidding. He's just gone through the animation of loading, cocking his fucking nose guns. And the traces are coming from the wings. I have no words. The Val never had wing guns. Ever. If a Val was fitted with wing guns, the wings would probably snap. Christ almighty. Done, guys. This is the worst mission this is the worst mission. You probably can tell, but this is the worst mission. The absolute worst. Like, hands down. You're not even shooting at anything. Like, he has the guns in the cockpit. You can see him load the guns in the cockpit, and there are no guns here. At all. And no, the Val did not have guns for the... No. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. They go through... In the cutscenes, was the guys making the game and the guys making the cutscenes two different teams? They've got to be. Because these Shermans, I mean, I'm not a tank expert. They look a bit funky. The turret looks a bit too small, I think. But overall, these are 75mm M4 Shermans. With 50 cals. And, you know, they're looking, like, the paint scheme looks a bit weird, but, like, overall, like, it's perfectly serviceable Sherman. Like... And look at that! Where's that machine gun? I don't see that machine gun in game. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's like with the Stalingrad mission. They're cutscenes. Like, the guys doing the cutscenes have done their homework, or at least have tried to. And then the game team, it's like they've made these. And then the game team have just made whatever the fuck they want. Also, as we've established, I don't think the Battle of Bougainville had it. This is closer to Okinawa than it is to the Battle of Bougainville, for sure. There we go. I kind of find it incredible that none of the American soldiers fired on him as he flew over, considering he's wearing Japanese markings.
Changed, Wade. They showed the flying daredevil from the clouds what war looked like in the dirt. Down there, he learned the only way to win was to have each other's backs. If you get past his talk and you see his actions, you will know who Wade Jackson really is.
I don't think I've ever been this angry at a game before, guys. I'm fucking out.